So, dear ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to express my thanks to this university for the invitation to hold a lecture today in front of you, the amazing students, and also distinguished guests as I see you all. It's wonderful to be able to be here with you and talk about the more global issue about global leadership and why inclusion and diversity is crucial for that. But before we really start with the lecture, maybe allow me to say some more words so you can ask me about the branch I'm working on if you want. My name is Yunus Emre. I studied law in Mainz, where I also live. That's near Frankfurt in Germany. I think many of you have heard from Frankfurt, maybe. So, moreover, I work in a law office with international flight right in that branch and found my own company 5 years before in the era of motor vehicle assessor service. And I'm, like my friend Hendrik Dost told, politician and member of the governing party in Germany, the Christian Democratic Union, since more than 10 years. And I'm engaged in the political field of immigration, integration, and also international foreign affairs, such as the transatlantic relations, such as European politics, the German-Israeli relations, and the German-Ukrainian relationship, as it's clear that I'm here today. So I think that was enough advertisement for me and myself, and we should continue to the lecture. And therefore I wanted to first of all make a short brainstorm session with you all together, so to involve you also. Who of you heard about diversity before? Okay, that's really surprising for me, because in Germany when we talk about this, like 80% heard about it. And what do you think when you hear diversity or inclusion? What comes in your mind?
Different culture.
Okay, I will write down. I'm sorry for my very bad, yes, different cultures and different colors was another one. What else?
Migration.
Different colors. Different language. What else?
Religion.
Religions. What else?
Taste.
Taste. Interesting. That was, for example, something that didn't come in my mind. Something else?
Different ethnic cultures, you know, like...
Okay, I think it is
ethnicity.
included in here, ethnicity, yes.
Different rules or
Rules.
Law.
laws.
Okay. What else?
Gender.
Gender. Okay, so the more and more you think about it, the more comes into your mind.
Racism?
Whatever comes in your mind, please tell me.
Education.
Different business, different.
Gender.
We already had gender.
Physical abilities.
Okay.
Political beliefs.
Religious beliefs.
What else? Nothing? So I think it's enough, because I thought that that topic, what I wanted to come, didn't come, and that were really. So before I make the introduce to the lecture. Let's begin with a short film I searched from the internet. That was a very big company in Germany. It is Edeka. It's a supermarket, really big one, which has in every city more supermarkets and sell things. They made in 2017 an experiment and made from that a video, and I think that says a lot.
Wo wir alle Produkte rausgenommen haben, die nicht aus Deutschland kommen.
You have to read the subtitle. I'm sorry for that.
Wir haben die ganzen Regale von den Produkten befreit, die nicht aus Deutschland kommen.
Der Momag ist ja auch kein deutsches Produkt, das heißt, der wird nicht im Sortiment heute da sein.
Das Eis ist weg.
Das Problem ist, dass in dem meisten Eis ja auch Vanille drin ist.
Ah. Das ist Kunst. In Deutschland wächst kein Kaffee.
In Deutschland wächst kein Kaffee, nee. Keine Kaffeebäume hier.
No, it's not a German product. Sorry. Genau, wie finden Sie das? Ist es langweilig oder?
Erschreckend ist es.
Erschreckend.
Das ist krass, der Spruch ist echt krass.
Was ist, wenn man halt alles Ausländische raushaut?
Das ist sehr erschreckend.
Das ist doch Unsinn. Wir sind doch ein offenes Land und erst recht nicht jetzt German First.
Kann ich mir das Schild mitnehmen?
Coole Aktion, auch wenn ich es einkaufen wollte.
Keine gute Idee, sagen Sie.
That was it so far. So just rethink about the question, what comes in your mind if we talk about diversity now. Just think 1 minute and then we will maybe write down if someone has more idea. And maybe also you can tell me if something changed in your mind about when you hear about diversity or something like that.
Possibility to choose.
Okay, one after another. Isolation.
The possibility to choose.
The possibility to choose. Options.
Food.
Okay, food, yes. What else?
Dependence.
What else? Nothing?
We love
What? Yeah.
Okay, that's
Anyone else with something? No? Okay, then now we should really start with the lecture. Okay. I wanted to have this as a PDF and not like this. Okay. So then we have to do this like that. Now. Okay. Well, when I get the invitation for today to hold this lecture and thought about what should be the topic to discuss about, for me it was very clear that it should be a topic many people talk about, but less people really know about its importance or is aware of it. So I wanted to focus this lecture on the topic of global leadership and why diversity and inclusion is crucial. Can you see everything, or have I to go something away? So the topic about global leadership is one of the most important issues in our free democracies and in a globalized world. And as we have seen, one word, even just one word after the video, met this topic. At a time of many international challenges, the issue of immigration, refugees and minorities increasingly challenge our societies and our liberal free democracies. Many Western nations are in need of qualified workers because of the demographic change. We all over the world notice, for example, in Europe, that the population is getting more and more old and the younger people getting less. So the less young people have to keep the system for everyone, so it is getting harder. That's the truth. And simultaneously they face the challenge to avoid social-political conflicts, the radicalization of some groups of their society, and to integrate new part of the population into our society based on the values of freedom, democracy, justice and peace. Actually, we can see in Europe all the conflicts coming up because of the topics of migration. For example, rising right-wing populist parties, rising up of anti-Semitism and extremism, and huge fear of refugees or people from different backgrounds. So for that reason, it is important that immigrants feel in a society welcome and that they get a fair chance on the labor market and in social, but especially in political life. So to understand why I told that this issue of integration and minorities will get the most important challenge for our democracies, we have to be aware again that we live in a globalized world and that a liberal and open immigration society, for example, we in Germany, we are in fact an immigration society, but the politics refuse to call Germany as an immigration society. So, and we have to notice that a society exists and consists of people with different culture, religion and skin color. So all the words we had over here. And at the same time, the worldwide migration of people presents especially new challenges for our Western community of values of the liberal representative democracy. So we have to think about with which measures and strategies we can promote the integration of minorities and immigrants into our Western community of values of liberal democracy and freedom. So in my opinion, the only strategy preventing extremism and the best medicine to prevent it is the best possible integration of minorities into the majority society, and this works only through political participation of the people. But if we look today in the societies, there is a very huge lack of representation of the population in our parliaments. But not only in the parliaments, also in the boards of companies and on the boards in civil society, etc., etc. For example, if we look to the top positions in the free market global player companies, you will find out that women are underrepresented. So this is also one example for this. So when the population of a city, for example, like Frankfurt, consists of 50% of people with migration background, and you have in the city council only 1 or 2 or 5% city councillors.
Lo que te hace mantener la ilusión y ganas de hacer las cosas son los...
I'm sorry for this.
No problem.
So we were at the point when a city consists of 50% of people with different backgrounds and the political representation is only by 5%, then we have there a problem. Then conflicts are not discussed, for example, in parliament, but positive role models and good integration keep on staying invisible instead of visible. So all parts of the society have to have not only a face in parliament, but also a voice. That's the most important, because only then something can bring out good work. But when big pieces of the society are not represented, then people consequently will get radicalized. And nowadays, in some parts, we see what is happening, unfortunately. So, there is also somehow an identification problem. If in politics or in business, for example, if in a company there is no woman, a woman has it more difficult to identify with this organization she will work in it. So our aim should be to achieve unity in diversity, and it is sure that we can achieve this when we as young generation, for example you, take care more about the democratic principles of representation, of a more reflecting, mirroring, and more representative and a fitter democracy. So far enough for the political statement. Let's go over to the topic diversity in leadership. We had now the pre-thoughts with this subject, and I think you can get all these titles or the presentation also from the university. I don't know how they will manage it, but I think that is a good thing. So, diversity in leadership. As we have talked, during the age of digitalization, international processes and transnational communication changed over the last 30 to 50 years immediately. The era of globalization offered many opportunities, but also brought challenges that societies nowadays are still facing and trying to overcome. These global changes affected, as we have said, nations' politics, societies, and economies. One big issue we are focusing on today is the change toward diverse and multicultural societies. Moreover, we will take a look at how diversity needs to be addressed when talking about leadership. Please, what? Did someone say anything? I don't know. So, how leadership and how diversity impacts good leadership. let's take a step back and talk about why diversity became so relevant to us nowadays. And let's take Germany as an example. Germany has about 82 million inhabitants. According to the migration report from 2015, 1/5 of the population has a migration background. Among children under the age of 10, this is approximately about 50%. So in 2015, we have witnessed the highest level of immigration and the highest positive migration balance since 1992. So the migration surplus was 1,150,000 persons. And Germany remains the main destination for people who are coming from outside of the country. However, migration has different effects on society, and more importantly, and I think that is very interesting for you, on economics. Immigration gives the nations the opportunity to attract skilled workers to overcome a low workforce. An example for this was post-war Germany and the high immigration. The German workforce couldn't meet the demands of the economically development, hence Germany needed more workers. So, therefore, around the mid-50s, Germany invited the so-called guest workers from Italian, Greek and Turkish origin. Therefore, for example, the biggest minority group in Germany is today the people with Turkish origin. So, even today, Germany is in need of skilled workers to meet the demands of the economical development that is highly impacted by continuous technological innovation. So, all in all, we can clearly see that immigration and thus diversity contributes to growth. A highly diverse workforce does not only increase the economical competitiveness, but also provides stability, since a diverse workforce can transform easier and quicker to adapt to global changes and challenges. So we have here something like the words options. So we have options. When there is diversity, we have options to choose. So in this era of technology and globalization, enterprise seek to establish cultural diversity in workforce. The successful implementation of cultural diversity within the company culture can have many benefits. It can increase creativity and efficiency. Having people with different backgrounds providing many diverse perspectives. This can provide a diverse set of solutions to specific problems. And this can lead to bigger opportunities and to better and more efficient work process. But diversity, especially cultural diversity, can lead also to productivity. A company having different talents from all over the world with different set of skills can improve the productivity of the company in long term. In an encouraging work environment where employees are motivated to develop personally and professionally, the employees will be able to gain new knowledge, skills from each other. So if you have, for example, different backgrounds, every one of you brings some knowledge what the other one, because of cultural aspects, don't know. So you profit from this diversity. And the same is in a company. So, if you have cultural diverse workforce, it can be possible to make internal events within the company for the employees to exchange the personal experience and start building trust and understanding towards each other. By encouraging engagement and interaction between colleagues, the work environment will transform into a cohesive community with a common goal, which will also lead to a better company culture. What? Was there a question? I don't understand. If there is a question, because if you speak, I don't know if it's a question or just a remark. Please feel free to interrupt. So, as you see, cultural diversity can also reduce employee turnover. Why? Because a company that embraces multicultural environment gains positive reputation at the market. So, you will attract a wider pool of workforce, and the people want to work in your company because you feel welcome. So, higher educated candidates especially, who experience an international education like you, will be able to identify with the company culture and consider the company more progressive. Thus, a culturally diverse company has higher chances to attract skilled professionals. Another big and major benefit of cultural diversity in companies is proven by a survey conducted by the think tank Center for Talent Innovation in 2013. The survey found that 48% of the companies in the US with a higher level of diversity at senior management level improved their market share the previous year, and in comparison to that, only 33% of companies with less diversity in the management can reveal similar growth. So, means companies with diverse backgrounds and workforce are able to improve their profit, when the same profit is not possible for companies who have not this cultural diversity. And this is not only the survey, this is a result of global business trends. Imagine, multiple companies want to expand their business in different countries, for example. Let's say China. So a company hiring employees in management level with fluent Mandarin can increase the company's reputation, but also facilitate business deals due to the fact that communication is for this company easier. And also because that manager knows the cultural background of the potential partner and thus can negotiate more efficiently, so that can increase profit. That also shows us another benefit of diversity in companies: getting better insights of the clients. If I have diverse workforce or diverse people in my management level, so I know the culture, I know how to deal. For example, in Germany it is often like that you have long-term negotiations. In Japan, if you have long-term negotiations, they interrupt this negotiation because it takes too long time. So you have to know this cultural difference to be successful with your business. So diversity has more economical effects as we think. But diversity can also have some negative effects if it's not dealt in the right way. Studies show that the lack of cohesion between races, sexes, and culture is due to the mistrust, stereotyping, and within culture conversation and language problems. So, when politicians and leaders in companies don't pay attention to these issues, it may lead to the inability to endorse positive outcomes of the diversity. So they lose the positive effect of diversity. And also we had some words like isolation. It fits in this topic. So, but when handled wisely, diversity can really increase curiosity and encourage creativity and different perspectives. Diversity can facilitate communication across nations, accelerate benefits of globalization by enabling a quicker transformation of the society into a multicultural, globally open community. To harvest all the benefits of cultural diversity, we need the right collection of leaders. And moreover, we need the leadership to reflect the diversity of a society or a company. The leadership often does not reflect the population, neither in society nor in the companies, as I explained at the beginning. For the sensitization of leaders in regards to minorities, diversity management, is this already on this? Yes. Diversity management is established in some companies for a more inclusive and fair workplace, with the goal of an equal opportunity for employment. And this model stems from the idea that members of the dominant group are favorized when it comes to job openings and promotions. This is a very important and interesting point. This diversity management model includes not only immigrants, but focuses on people who are in minority groups due to their gender, ethnicity, nationality, age, culture, disability, sexual orientation, and more. This concept originates from the women's rights movement in the 60s in the United States, but developed now over the years. Diversity management is a part of human resource that aims to create an inclusive and diverse work environment, which can be beneficial for the company, especially if the company wants to expand into global markets. The main goal of diversity is to eliminate discrimination towards minorities in, for example, recruiting process and establish an equal opportunity for everyone. And to establish a more inclusive workforce, the concept of diversity intelligence is promoted in the training of leaders. What is diversity intelligence? Diversity intelligence simply means to understand workplace diversity and the fact that each individual is unique and has different backgrounds and strengths and weaknesses, and leverage that knowledge to develop a diverse workplace to overcome the challenges of globalization. It is about finding the right candidate at the right time with the right background, regardless of their cultural or physical difference. Diversity intelligence is about understanding and acknowledging each other's differences, but it goes beyond just tolerating them. It is about embracing and actively seeking the diversity of each individual to develop as a whole, as a group. The concept of diversity intelligence comprises first understanding the differences, then accepting those differences, and finally respecting and exchanging each other's differences to leverage the full potential of the group. Diversity intelligence and diversity management is all about the exploration of our differences in a safe and welcoming environment, and thus does not only benefit the company, but also each individual himself. Diversity management concepts and training aim to increase the intelligence of leaders for them to leverage diversity to develop and establish a diverse workforce by motivating and empowering another more positive perspective on how employees view diversity. There are many tools and concepts that aim to improve diversity intelligence of leaders and managers nowadays. First, adaptable communication practices. Those practices aim to increase our awareness that people from different backgrounds have different communicational approaches, and by expanding our awareness about that, we can facilitate and motivate individuals to engage with each other and thrive as a team. Another concept is highlighting our diversity so-called blind spots. Here, we want to understand our own unconscious biases that influence our opinions and decision-making. It is about learning and studying our mind and working on ourselves to eliminate any biases that lead us to judge too quickly. The aim is to change our mindset, however. Is there something unclear at the end? Is there something unclear, or The guy with the white pullover. Okay. So after we have get a deep awareness of ourselves, we need to address to overcome the diversity comfort zone. This is crucial in order to hire people different than us. The issue with recruiting and diversity in the workplace was that people tend to hire individuals most similar to them. Individuals often feel more comfortable in a group that are similar. In this part of the diversity management training, leaders are pushed out of their comfort zone and challenged to be encouraged to explore new and diverse experiences. The last step after increasing self-awareness and exploring cultural differences is to develop an action plan in order to implement a diversity management program in the own company and to commit to the change of the system. To have a legitimate action plan, leaders need to include specific steps to achieve more diversity, outline possible obstacles and ideas to overcome those, and sketch measures of success. All in all, to achieve diversity and leverage the full power, leaders need to strategically approach the topic. The true key to success for great diversity management lies in engaging and thus understanding those you lead and creating the creative, innovative and inclusive environment they need to succeed as individuals in order to succeed as a whole. By aligning a high level of diversity intelligence through strategic concepts and communication plans, leaders can effectively inspire those around them and establish a cohesive, collaborative and forward-thinking company culture. So, is so far something unclear? Or is it boring for you?
No, it's very interesting.
Okay, I just wrote down 1 to 5 points, facts that why diversity matters for business. So we already talked about this, but it's like a summary with facts. So companies with higher gender and ethnic diversity are 15 to 35% more likely to have higher financial returns, means the increasing of profit, than non-inclusive companies. And we have to think about that 1/3 of our life we spend at work, and it matters for someone, for an employee, whether I can be myself and live up to my potential or not. For example, if I have no diversity culture in my company and I have, for example, someone is gay or something else, and he has fear to talk about this, he feels not free to bring up his potential in the company because he can't be himself. That's a problem. So if you have diversity culture, there is no problem and your company works better. And also, if you identify with your company, you are more committed to this company. It's self-understanding. So, and diverse teams means also having better decisions, being more flexible, because you have maybe one issue, but 1,000 persons have 1,000 other opinions about this one issue. So if you reflect as a whole, you get better results from that. So diversity matters. So to sum up, the global world is at the end diverse, and only a diverse team can understand its needs and develop amazing products. So if I don't know what is needed in China, and I have no one who is experienced in that, I can't develop anything what is useful in China, only in one country. So to summarize, and coming slow but surely to an end, we can say, our world is changing all the time. The only thing what doesn't change is the change itself. And that change reflects what it is all about. Diversity is a key issue, not just for politics or gender or minority sector, but for our modern open societies as a whole. Our institutions and organizations, our companies and business, they all need to reflect the diversity that exists in our societies in a global world, because it is the right thing to do and because it is the smart thing to do. This year, for example, we celebrate the 17th year of Germany's constitution. Article 3 clearly states that no person shall be favored or disfavored because of sex, parentage, language, homeland and origin, religion, race, faith, or religious or political opinions. No person shall be disfavored because of disability. This is what the law says, but this is also what our inner moral compass tells us. It is also smart to live through diversity. Researchers have shown, and we have talked about that teams operate more efficiently and creatively when they consist of a variety of backgrounds or point of view. The challenge remains, however, how exactly do we get from understanding and embracing the idea of diversity to actually living it? How do we overcome the forces and the status quo and create organizations and institutions that reflect our principles both in spirit and in shape? Again, the title of our lecture holds parts of the answer. It requires inclusive leadership. Well, that's obviously not enough on its own. It is necessary. Change must be driven from the top. Leaders must force their culture in which diversity can thrive. They must set clear goals and push this culture by communication, by setting milestones and pushing for transparency. This is what you, as future leaders of the society, should do when you take a leadership position. Creating equal opportunities for everyone. Make steady events, trainings and analysis about your success and measures. Work always on make your companies or institutions more attractive. Try to have more diverse workforce. Welcome all people, no matter their sexual orientation, their heritage, disabilities, or any other criteria except their character and fitness to serve. Everyone will benefit from the flexibility you create in your organization. At the end, your organization will benefit. For example, if you create equal chances and optimize your conditions for women, you will attract more and more the best women in the world in this field you need. And the same is for everyone else. At the end, you will attract only the best and succeed with your organization and company. Still, we have a long way to go and much to learn. You have the opportunity now to discuss about all these issues. To me, this is the outstanding value of your university here. It brings together students from all backgrounds, as I've seen. Not only students, but also professors and experts from all sectors, public and private sector, from academia and politics, from diplomacy and business. This is a really inclusive university, and this university is designed to get everyone to interact and to actively participate. I congratulate you, therefore, that you have chosen to study at this international place, and I encourage you all to use this unique opportunity to learn from each other in person, to ask and to talk about your respective experiences, your lessons learned about your programs, but also in fostering diversity. And I thank once again for the outrageous hospitality here in Kiev. Thank you very much for having me here, and let's close my part of the lecture with a video I like very much when I have seen it in a global leadership program. And after that, feel free to have the free discussion round with me.
I'm proud to be English. My family have served and we've defended this country and been to war for this country.
I'm really patriotic about English.
Well, I am 100% Icelandic, yeah, definitely.
This is Kurdish
You
wedding
need to have the English
with my mom in the
subtitles, right?
traditional Kurdish clothes.
Or are they are the
It's proud black, so that's it.
Yeah, I think we are probably the best country in the world, if I'm honest.
Alright, they're not in English.
I'm proud to be English. My family have served and we've defended this country and we've been to war for this country.
I'm really patriotic about Bangladesh.
Well, I am 100% Icelandic, yeah, definitely.
This is Kurdish wedding with my mom in the traditional Kurdish clothes.
We're just proud black, so that's it.
Yeah, I think we are probably the best country in the world, if I'm honest.
Think about other countries and other nationalities in the world. Are there any that you don't feel you get on with well, or you won't like particularly?
Germany. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Germans.
You might think they're a little bit...
Particularly India and Pakistan, probably because of the whole, the conflict.
Because I have this side of me that's like, that hates Turkish people. Not people, but the government. But French?
No.
We just left, it's just fact.
I'm more important than you. I don't know you, but in my opinion, I am strong and I am more important than a lot of people.
How would you feel about taking a journey based on your DNA?
Yeah, I feel very intrigued.
What could you possibly tell me that I don't know?
So do you know how DNA works? So you get half from mum and half from dad, so 50% from each of them, and they get 50% from their parents, and back and back and back. And all those little bits of your ancestor, they filter down to make you, you. I need you to spit in this tube for me. You spit up to the little black line.
That's a lot of spit.
The story of you is in that tube. What's it going to tell me?
It's going to be, oh yeah, you're French, and wait, your grandparents are French, and wait.
100% Bengali.
Solid Iraqi. I'm Cuban.
You're going to tell me that I'm English? No, I've told you.
Jay, you come down and join us?
I'm a little bit nervous, I have to say.
So you ready to find out your results? Can you read it out to us, please? Look at me. Oh my God. Oh, wow. I didn't expect that. All of them.
Whoa! No.
Caucasus, which was Turkish.
Yeah.
Eastern Europe, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece.
I'm 32% British.
What? Great Britain, 30%. Can we? 5% German.
I'm Irish.
Yeah, so I'm a Muslim Jew.
Great Britain, 11%.
You sure these results are mine?
Eastern Europe. Iceland has definitely moved closer to Europe now.
I'm going to go a bit far right now, but this should be compulsory. There would be no such thing as like extremism in the world if people knew their heritage like that. Like, who would be stupid enough to think of such thing as like a pure race?
In a way, we're all kind of cousins, in a broad sense. In a much more direct sense, you have a cousin in this room. Turn around and guess who it is. What?
Yeah. What's that?
Why don't you come down here and meet your cousin?
I didn't know I did. This is like, my heart's pounding right now, I swear to God.
Straight from everywhere, what I'm trying to say. I'm a real man of the world.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you.
So would you like to travel to all of these places?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have anyone other questions? Or is it clear what I wanted to show you with this lecture?
It is good.
If you rethink about when we talk about diversity, it's not only this different cultures or whatever, it is the whole. That was the message I wanted to give you with you, to think global, to act global, and to open your mind and think the big as big you can.
Thank you. Thank you again.